I think that Real Clear Stats blog said that the average game length, regardless of format, is going to be just over 40 rallies per game. So,
but the variability was the important thing.
Yeah.
Right? The variability of the traditional scoring is like what it was 44% more volatile.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean I think that's I think that's a case in favor of rally scoring. Your average game length is going to be about 41 points, but in rally scoring it's going to be 36 to 45 points. In traditional scoring, you could play 35 to 100 points and have the same result essentially.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say there's something like to be said about like sports kind of having that element of like the unknown?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to turn on the TV and watch pickleball and be like, oh, well, let me just hit the clock and know that this is going to be over in 30 minutes.
Right.
And that's the great thing about tennis, in my opinion, is like you could have a match that's quick, you could have a match that's long.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a fan, you're going to watch no matter what. So you could say the same thing about these time sports. Like, yeah, basketball, football, they have a clock on them. But if it's a blowout and, the team's up by 35 points, I guarantee you they're not going to be as many timeouts. There's not going to be maybe as many fouls, right? Like, it's just going to be a faster flowing game. Versus if it's a tight game, more timeouts, maybe the pace of play is a little bit slower, maybe there's more fouls. Like, you have, a discrepancy in the amount of time that's going to take for these to finish. So I think if the viewership is there, I don't think the TV networks are going to be like making a huge deal over a half an hour difference.
Right.
And let's just let the freedom of play happen versus like trying to put these like restrictions on play, which kind of leads into something that I would like to talk about. I don't know if this is that like publicly known, but maybe you know about it, that I think there's been talks about putting a shot clock on play, which I personally feel like is the worst idea I've ever heard of.
Are you surprised that I kind of like it? Well, I like experiments.
I like the idea of like you're like, okay, they got 2 more dinks before somebody's got to pull trigger, right? And it's
but then what happens
build.
then? Like, if it's a 30-second clock, let's just say like, let's just take that amazing point that we had from Coop's match against the Fives.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, that was definitely longer than 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And it went through like so many different phases. Right. We had the traditional start to a point where we're just kind of trying to get up to the kitchen. We had the firefight, which went for like 10 seconds alone. Like, then they reset. Then they go back to dinking. Then they're back in the firefight.
Like, so,
are you gonna just like, oh, sorry, that's it. So like, end of highlight. You're gonna have everyone in the stands.
But in lacrosse, I'll give you an example. Like, there is a clock on advancing the ball up the field. So getting it to the point where, you're like within certain proximity to the net. But then once you establish that proximity, you can then exit and the game resumes. But it speeds it up to a degree. But like, it's not going to call the point dead if something doesn't happen in a certain amount of time. So I feel like there's ways to,
but this is also the other thing about this is like, it's not lacrosse or basketball where you have multiple people on the field. Someone who maybe is not on ball can look and communicate shot clock. When you're playing tennis or pickleball or one of these racket sports, whatever, your eye is glued to the ball.
Right.
I'm not taking my eye off the ball to look at some stupid shot clock that's telling me I got to speed the ball up right now.
But what if it is like a light sound? It's like a light beeping, and you know, okay.
Yeah, in the arena it goes like 10, 9, 8. Well,
wouldn't that be sick if the whole crowd is counting down?
Right.
Something's coming.
Don't you personally feel like, too, like, the argument is that, Steve was saying he doesn't want to have, like, these huge, long rallies and, like, big dink points. But there's only 2 guys out there that really play like this. Yeah, big big Dink energy points. But really,
Sorry, I'm
there's
actually
only
12.
there's only two guys that play like that or cause others to even kind of play like that. And
What's Lung and Callan?
yes, they would be in it too.
Who are you talking about? Let's name names.
I'm talking about Ben and Colin.
Fair.
Obviously they command a lot of respect out there. So it's like, you want to make sure you're attacking at the right times, and they play, conservative because they can, right? They make a lot of balls, and they wait for a very, very good opportunity before they generally take chances. But those 100-point Dink rallies don't happen very often.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you on this one. I'm definitely in favor of plenty of rule changes, and I really like experimentation. Now, don't get me wrong. I would really like to watch a tournament where they have a 30-second shot clock and see what it's like. Like, I want to see it happen. I think they're putting together an exhibition where it's going to happen.
So
I'd like to watch it. I'd like to see it happen. But this isn't a change where I'm like, yeah, this needs to happen for MLP. I've probably said about 15 things. I'm like, yeah, I would like to see this happen for MLP. Thomas can attest to that.
Mm-hmm. This
is not one that I'm like chomping at the bit to be like, yeah, let's see what happens. But that being said, when somebody does it, I'm sure as hell going to watch. I think it's going to be an interesting way to change, to see how things change. And it could be a one-off event that gets run some point in a given year. You have a 24-second shot clock for this one event, and see what happens. I mean, there's plenty of sports where you do have interesting exhibition type things.
Well, we just had here in Austin the Dell match play for golf, right? That's a totally different format. So you can have events where things differ.
Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of wanted to go, actually.
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's over the weekend.
So I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you on this one. I don't know. Steve, you're going to have to pull some magic out for this one. I want to see it, though. I want to see it.
We all thought rally scoring at first would be like a total bust.
Right.
And it ended up being, or like maybe the dream breaker, right? So he's had great ideas.
Mm-hmm. He's got a good track record.
Not get it twisted, but
he's got a good track record.
This one I'm vetoing hard.
Don't veto it till you've seen it, brother.
I'll watch it
till you've seen it.
But maybe on the APP or something.